Yep, Corey, they got me in the booth. What's up? Is someone tossing to me or am I just going? Perfect. Perfect. And then I'll just stand by and we'll move to digital. Okay.
Good evening, I'm Mark Curtis. We're coming on the air tonight with breaking news. A wildfire burning along the US 60 about 4 miles south of Wickenburg has forced evacuations tonight and has destroyed at least 4 homes. Up to 100 are threatened. It's being called the Rose Fire. Let's get right out to 12 News journalist Bianca Bono, who's live near Wickenburg and as close to the fire lines as she's being allowed to get. Bianca?
Mark, right now we're live south of Wickenburg, right where State Route 74 meets the US 60. That's where the 60 has been closed off to drivers heading north towards Wickenburg because of the Rose Fire that continues to burn tonight. The latest update we received from Wickenburg Fire, they tell us the fire is currently at 200 acres and growing at 0% containment. And as you mentioned, sadly, we've learned that 4 homes have been destroyed in this fire. The good news, those homes were unoccupied when they burned. But we want to show you dramatic footage from Sky 12 over the scene of this fire earlier this afternoon. I'm told the fire started east of the US 60. Within about an hour, the fire jumped the highway over to the west side. There are several resources from the air and on the ground that are working to fight this fire, and there are evacuation orders in place right now. We know that residents of the Rio Vista Hills community have a go order from the county. Residents of Turtleback Mountain Ranch and Raposa Heights are currently in a set alert, meaning they should be ready to go start collecting prescriptions, documents, items for your pets, water and snacks, and be ready to go. I want to know that there is an evacuation center for those who do need to evacuate at the Wickenburg Community Center. We will continue to monitor this fast-moving fire tonight and bring you the very latest tonight on 12 News at 10. Mark, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Bianca, we'll have the latest on the Rose Fire coming up on 12 News at 10. And for continuing coverage of this fire, you can join us right now on 12 Plus and 12news.com. We want to welcome our viewers on 12news.com and the 12 News app as we continue our coverage of the Rose Fire, which broke out late this afternoon in the Hassayampa River bottom and has quickly spread. Of course, the weather always plays a major role in these fires, not only because of the hot, dry conditions, which make it extremely tough to fight the fires, but also the wind. For more on the conditions out there, let's bring in meteorologist Lindsay Riley.
It has still been a very warm evening. We did make it into the triple digits today out in Wickenburg. Right now, we're sitting at 93 degrees in the vicinity of the fire. Relative humidity will remain extremely low in the coming days, and right now that also is below 5%. Winds have come down slightly since the heat of the day out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. This is the hour-by-hour overnight forecast for the Wickenburg area. 11 p.m. we will be in the 80s. Temperatures will drop off by 4 and 5 a.m. to the 70s, so it will be a cool start to the day. Notice the wind speeds. They'll be blowing from the north during the overnight at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now, as we look ahead to tomorrow, it will be another hot day. Even though at 5 a.m. we're going to be in the 70s, by 8 a.m. we're already going to be at 90 degrees. A fair amount of sunshine during the morning. Then by 11 a.m. we're up to 99, and we'll be camping out right at the 100-degree mark between noon and the mid-afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies, no moisture, but the wind shifts tomorrow is out of the southeast at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. So wind speeds will be very similar to today with those 20-mile-per-hour gusts. There's Wickenburg, 93. In the valley itself, we're still in the triple digits. Wind speeds, as you can see, pretty calm around the valley right now, including Wickenburg, a light breeze there. But here's a look at our relative humidities, and really all across the state, at least the lower deserts, we are in the single digits, and we are not going to see any improvement in those relative humidities. There is no rain in the forecast for the lower deserts. As you can see, this is our current radar. It is completely dry. Now, there are a couple spots in the state that will see some rain, but also the potential for some dry lightning later in the day tomorrow, but it's all going to be north of where that fire is burning. Maricopa County looking to stay dry tomorrow. Northern and eastern Arizona, couple spotty showers and storms, but also dry lightning could play a factor, which will increase the fire risk even for northern Arizona. Mark?
Linz, thanks. And we saw in Lindsay's forecast, dry lightning could be in the forecast. We know there was no lightning involved in this. So this fire, which makes it doubly sad, was human caused. We don't know the cause of it yet, but we do know it was human caused. Let's check in with Team 12's Bianca Bono, who is live in Wickenburg with the latest. And Bianca, right now we know that 4 homes have been destroyed. Any updates on that?
No, Mark, sadly, just we know that those 4 homes have been destroyed in this fire. The good news is that those homes were unoccupied at the time. But unfortunately, I'm told there are about 100 homes in the area in the pathway of the Rose Fire right now. So where we're standing, this is kind of the staging area they've set up. We're where State Route 74 meets the US 60 south of Wickenburg. This is where the state has asked the media to kind of stage in as close as they want us to get to the fire. Before the sun set behind me, you could see the very thick black smoke burning. It's hard to see it now that the sun has gone down, but a lot of activity in this area that we've seen the past couple of hours. All of State Route 60, US 60, is completely closed down in both directions south of Wickenburg. That is for multiple reasons. Number one, we know that the fire right now is burning on both the east and the west side of the US 60. Also, it's to keep all of those crews out there safe. There are a lot of hand crews right now working on the ground to try to control this thing. Unfortunately, when the sun goes down, so do all of those aircraft that are working so hard to fight this fire. So it's really all on those hand crews overnight to get this under control. The latest update that we have from Wickenburg Fire within the past 20 minutes or so is that the Rose Fire is currently at 200 acres and counting with 0% containment. I'm told, if you see me looking at my phone, by the way, it's because I have a lot of notes here from the PIO and from updates that we're continuing to get. But we know that the Rose Fire started earlier this afternoon south of Wickenburg. It started on the east side. It was burning in the Hassayampa River bottom. Within about an hour or so, I'm told that something caused, likely the winds, caused the fire to jump the 60 and start burning on the east side of the US 60 as well. Right now, for those that live in the area working to navigate around the area, I'm told there's no time frame with regards to when the US 60 is going to reopen. But we did speak with the public information officer, Tiffany Davila, with the state just probably about an hour or so ago, who gave us an update on what her crews are seeing, how this all started, what we know. Take a listen to what she had to say.
The Rose Fire started earlier today east of the 60 and about 4 miles south of Wickenburg. At the time, it was called in at about 8 acres. It has obviously since grown. It was burning within the Hassayampa River bottom, burning in tamarisk, which is an invasive species, and then grass and brush, which was really carrying the fire. An hour later, the fire jumped the US 60 and is now burning along both sides of the highway. We used a lot of heavy aircraft at the start of the fire. We had 2 single-engine air tankers that were working, but we found that the retardant wasn't effective. So we launched a large air tanker and a very large air tanker, and then we also placed an order for 2 scoopers, which are being launched at this time.
That interview was when it was still daylight, so unfortunately all of those aircraft did have to land because they don't operate once it gets dark out. So again, a lot of emphasis on those hand crews that are out there working tirelessly right now. I want to talk about the evacuation orders that are currently in effect. We know that the Rio Vista Hills community has a go order, an evacuation order in effect for that community, and residents of the Turtleback Mountain Ranch area and Raposa Heights are in a set alert, meaning they should be ready to go. Start gathering those valuable items, prescriptions, documents, items for your pet, water, snacks, anything else that you might need. Start gathering that now, so if the county does issue that go order, you're ready to go and get to safety. I also want to mention that Wickenburg Fire says an evacuation center has been set up at the Wickenburg Community Center for anyone who might need it. That is currently open right now. So this was initially Wickenburg Fire's incident, but as soon as this really got out of hand and started to grow fast, that's when they declared that they need some assistance with more resources. They brought the state in. We know BLM is also assisting on this fire as well. So it's really an all hands on deck situation. But again, US 60 is completely closed off south of Wickenburg. Evacuation go orders and set orders are currently in effect for residents in this area. Mark?
We talk about these fires all the time. We constantly have fire officials coming on the air saying to be careful, lift your chains up, and inevitably something is going to happen. Someone throws a cigarette out the window, a chain causes a spark that's being dragged, something happens, and then you have people who are on high alert or are being evacuated from their homes and being forced to grab their important personal documents, all because of, and I hate to say this, but carelessness. And right now it's 200 acres, which is a huge jump for a fire that just started a few hours ago. And tomorrow it's going to be just as hot, just as dry. And these firefighters, Bianca, are facing a very tough situation tomorrow once the sun comes back up.
No question about it. And I talked to Tiffany Davila, the public information officer, about that. How do you manage this heat on top of everything else? I mean, think about it. When you walk outside in Phoenix, it's hot. Imagine what these fire crews are facing in all of that gear, facing flames just a few feet away from them. It's pretty unbelievable what they're out there doing right now. And thankfully, you know, the sun is set, so it's not quite as brutal up here in this area, but it's still hot up here near Wickenburg. So the crews are facing some really difficult elements. Earlier this afternoon, wind speeds kicked up to about 15, 20 miles per hour, I'm told. That's when this fire started as well. So that likely played a huge role, and it is just so dry. I mean, my photographer and I, we walked up kind of a hill so we could try to get, to see what we can see, essentially looking north, not much at this point, but we walked through some of the vegetation and it is so dry. So that is not helping the situation either. And yeah, as you mentioned, there was no weather activity in this area, so it's very clear this was human caused. I asked Tiffany if there's anything she could tell us about the cause. You know, obviously it's far too early for them to make any kind of ruling on that, but she did tell me that investigators were there right at the scene where the fire started, so they will find out what caused this. And you know, it's so interesting. You drive down the 60 and there are signs everywhere warning people of the fire danger that we're facing right now. No shooting allowed right now in the state. So it's so important to check all of that. And of course, yeah, if you're driving with chains or anything that can spark anything up on the road, be mindful because it is so dry and we are in that peak fire season right now. So be mindful of the folks that live in this area, the fire crews that have to fight it when those fires do spark up. And yeah, the situation is no joke, Mark. It's really unfortunate for the folks that have been evacuated and, like you said, are right now just so stressed out gathering those items and preparing for the worst.
I feel for all those people. Bianca, we're going to let you get ready for 12 News at 10. Of course, we want to let all of you know that we'll come back on the air if something major develops. If not, we'll certainly see you later on tonight on 12 News at 10. But our job is to not only report on these situations, but to inform. So if you're watching us from the Wickenburg area, if you live in Raposa Heights, or Turtleback Mountain Ranch, you are on set status. Arizona has a ready, set, go system when it comes to wildfire. So set means get ready to evacuate. You may get that call. And one community has already been evacuated, and that's the Rio Vista community. That community has been evacuated tonight. Up to 100 homes are in danger. We'll continue to follow this fire throughout the evening, and of course, we'll have the very latest coming up later tonight on 12 News at 10, as well as online anytime on 12news.com and the 12 News app. We'll see you later on.